Oh my goodness.
Alauneari gives him a smile, sort of stepping a little closer to him. Are you hurt, brother?
Rilinid shakes his head. No, although I quite imagine I could have. Our new, he turns his head, companion seems to be rather skilled with her chosen profession.
Ivy smiles back and says, "Yes, I will say I am one of the quickest blades in Festival, or was." She shrugs.
Perhaps you will have the further opportunity to show that, not just to us, but to perhaps other areas of the Upper Azathyr and deeper.
She smiles. I would like to see other places. It's so isolated in Festival. Have you traveled far? She sort of brightens her mood. Have you seen the fungal jungle?
Rilinid nods. I have, only but for limited stretches, for it is quite dangerous. I do think, and Rilinid looks back to Alauneari and then back to Ivy, after we are done with the painless transition of leadership in Festival, we might be making a few forays into there.
Alauneari nods.
Yes, painless.
So like roll a bluff check. It'll be over quickly.
I'm getting a little tired of this sleazy voice. It's wearing down my throat.
They won't feel a thing.
Exactly. We'll be home before it.
I need to go back to not talking. This is rough.
Yes, Ivy nods and say, "Okay. So where are we going?" She sort of looks around the pathway. I'm not sure. Those spiders might still be around.
Well, it rotates back to look at the rest of his family, particularly Alauneari, and sort of shrugs at her. She's the best at talking to people politely.
Alauneari has sort of, even though she doesn't really like it, gotten good at speaking to people in a way that pleases them and makes them do as she wants to. Although she looks forward to the day when she won't have to, and she can simply tell people to do something and kill them if they don't. For now, she knows that diplomacy usually seems to be the best course of action. So she will look to Ivy and say, "Well, we're actually here on a bit of an errand. We're here to acquire something that our drow brothers and sisters left here some long time ago. You see, this whole plan has been in the works for centuries."
Ivy looks around. I see. I don't know anything about that. She looks around. I know that the spiders went that way. She points east.
Well, Larry nods and looks to her brother. "I suppose that is where we have to go."
Yes.
Rilinid will nod and then sort of like roll his shoulders and say, "Indeed, I do believe that we will have to deal with these spiders, whatever they might exactly be."
Well, Alauneari just nods a little, looks at Ivy and says, "Well, I suppose then that our first course of action will be avenging your companions." Looks, if these spiders are indeed holding what we need, then we don't really have much of a course of action to not attack them. She looks to Rilinid. You said that the Skizral might be implicated here?
I think so. They're the only spider type of creature I can think of that would have laid webs, particularly if they attack from the ceiling. It seems as if they could be capable, and if I hear their chittering, I will know. For Rilinid is fluent in Skizral.
Oh,
a very rare trait among drow.
looks at Rilinid and says, I see then. If these can be talked to, then that will be our first option. If not, we will simply have to dispatch them. I would rather not waste any resources, though. Nothing that can potentially be gained should be squandered.
Rilinid nods with that. Couldn't have said it better. Yep, sounds good.
Right then, she looks to Rain and frowns, thinking that it would be nice if he would be sort of more competent in the coming battle. But
or just more competent in general.
well, no, actually, she's fine with that. She doesn't need any more challengers.
Poorly does.
He has his part, and he will play it.
That's right.
All right then, she will go and don her armor, and yeah.
Rilinid will. I suppose Rilinid will do this. Rilinid will do the same. I suppose. Let's go ahead and put on the clothes. Woo! That was fun not having those clothes on, everyone.
Yeah, Ivy seemed to appreciate it.
Oh.
Well, my character is rather the rakish type, as you would very well know, Joe.
Oh yes.
Those hard ice blue eyes, and that's not the only thing that's hard.
Oh my.
Oh, I know what those pages and pages have been about now.
As if there were any doubt, Manaki. You were my proofreader.
Yeah, I was on the receiving end, actually. I see that you have moved on.
It's not my fault you didn't invite me to the Way of the Wicked campaign. Then you too could have had pages and pages of wonderful, languid prose.
Describing various hard parts.
Rilinid then will look towards Ivy and says, well, you would know this area the best of all of us. Would you mind showing us around here? There might be something within the caravan wreckage that might give us more of a clue as to what we're facing here. Disarming smile.
She shakes her head. I don't think there is much left in the wreckage, honestly. The spiders have picked through it twice. Whatever they found, they took with them, and I have scoured it for remnants of food. There's nothing left up there. She sort of indicates the ledge.
Oh, sure, you'll take that at face value.
Are there any spider tracks on the floor or the ceiling or anywhere?
Well, you can certainly track.
Let's track.
Did you, by the way, cast Shield of Faith on yourself, Manaki?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a 23.
That seems to be appropriate.
Yeah.
23?
Assuming that tracking is the same as a check to follow tracks.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, Zyn scours around, checks the cabin floor and such, and yes, there seems to be very much, tracks like ripped parts of webbing, small secretions, etc. That seems to very well be coming from spiders, and they seem to corroborate the story that Ivy told that the spiders have been heading east down this tunnel.
Then we'll share that information with the party.
Well, they will not. It seems to confirm what we already know. She'll walk a little closer to Ivy and actually take something from her pack. And hand it to her.
Ivy looks suspicious at the thing, but takes it, whatever it is.
It's
not if it's a bomb. If it's a bomb, she doesn't take it.
Bleeding. Yeah. No, it's some food. Because if she scoured the wreckage and there hasn't been any food for days, she might be very hungry. She might appreciate something.
Yes, she seems to be, and she digs in with a voracious appetite of a pack lizard, and quickly devours it with big chunks and munches.
Oh, we have 2 pack lizards now. Damn it! What have I done?
Don't shoot this one. Well, I'll look at her and say, so show us the way.
She nods. Okay, I haven't gone too much further this way, but yes.
Show us your skills.
She, smiles a bit and then sort of stealths down the path here, seemingly on the lookout.
She'll nod for Rilinid and Zyn to follow.
Yeah. Alauneari doesn't know drow sign language, does she?
No, she
Think
doesn't.
so. Rilinid will look towards Zyn and signal back. Just like a... Maybe if there's a drow sign language version of a sigh.
I'm sure there's a side word.
Probably the same as Deep Gnome.
Just that. And then he'll move forward.
Yep, Zyn can also follow the tracks quite proficiently with that roll.
So we can leave the pack lizard in the orb, probably at the opening.
Yeah.
Rain better come with us, right? Or do you think he'll be too much of a bother? Alauneari will lead him.
That's
Just
right.
leave him there. It would be mean.
Carrying our siblings into battle seems to be the thing our mother intended.
Yep. And of course, drow sign language flashing to Zyn. Ivy must never discover or learn about the potions that we seek to bring from the supply cache, or she might turn against us, and then everything we just discussed will be for naught.
Then we'll signal back, agreed.
Right, Ivy scouts ahead, and you all follow her. The tunnel before you stretches quite a bit. Apparently, the pack lizard is rushing after you. No, it's not.
Bring that.
So Shell's task is to watch out for the pack lizard, and she knows better than to try to survive on her own in the upper Azathoth. That's probably what got her dumbass caught in the first place.
Probably, yes. Ivy leads you, and Zyn leads you too down the cavernous corridors of this place, and you travel for roughly 30 minutes before you.
Such a short distance, and apparently 30 minutes passed.
No.
We walked very slowly.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh no, it's a new map on the same map. Shit.
Oh, what? Help.
Welcome to the darkness.
Let's see if I can do this properly.
Oh man, I didn't know I was gonna have to do that much screen time work with a NPC. Oh, if I had known that, I would have taken some drugs, some happy pills.
The happy pill.
Get a throat warmer or something. I can't do this forever.
Need a stone mask. I need it back.
It's a condition. I need to think about it really hard.
You can put your mask back on, right?
I wanted to present the air I think it would have been harder for me to try to convince her with emotions if I was wearing a fucking stone mask, right?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. That would definitely be something that Rilinid could slide back on to feel more comforted and hide his true feelings.
All right. You follow the tracks down this corridor. Until you get here, and the tracks take a turn north into a small crack in the stone. Oh, well, not small crack, but it's a very narrow passage.
Sort of peer around the wall into the narrow passageway.
Any sounds coming from the passage?
No, it is silent. Peeking in here, though, Rilinid can see a lot of webbing inside this small cavern.
Rilinid frowns, looks back at Zyn. Look, now I have to get back to my fucking monotonous voice. The tracks going here?
Then not.
Is this enough to, pass through, or am I gonna, squeeze through here? Or...
You will have to squeeze through.
Rilinid frowns, but, will be the first to edge his way in.
Alauneari will tell Rain to stay close to her and and she can sort of help identify threats for him. If nothing else, you can sort of, for now at least, have the wall as at his back.
Right, Rain will nod you and use whatever solid things are around as things to help guide him.
What is this room, Jonas?
Well, you can roll a perception check to search it.
I just want to know what the room was.
The room is a small cavern. It is filled with webbing. And
It's a trap.
Exactly. And the remnants of some like minor vermin from around the upper here.
And this is another, another passageway leading out of it?
Yes.
How tall is the room?
Not too tall. It is around 10 feet.
Okay. I'll go ahead and make the perception skill check then. Yay, perception. How about 19? Is 19 good enough for you?
That's a lot of perception.
All I see is blackness. Oh, my hood's down.
Oh, power's down. Oh, Warcraft 3.
Yeah, that's all Rae'nkalar's problem is. He just has a hood over his face.
Yep. Help! I can't
Oh,
see.
my cloak fell down.
He has his cloak on backwards.
For like 3 days.
Cloak on backwards. Help!
Like, Alauneari tried to tell him, and then just let it go.
Yes, the gnomes, dear brother. The gnomes did it.
They used Mage Hand to put my cloak the wrong way around.
Nefarious.
He, like, rolled a 1 on his perception. Alright.
Yep. Yes. Well, Rilinid notices that there doesn't seem to, tracks or webbing doesn't really seem to continue into the smaller opening here. However, looking around, he can see that there seems to be a cleverly disguised hole up in the roof.
Rilinid, in the process of looking around, like maybe moving a web with his gloved hand, like crinkling his face behind the stone mask, will peer his head up towards the ceiling, like maybe expecting a spider to pop in, and then stop, look back at Zyn, and
Then
signal
we'll
to
follow his eyes.
to look up there.
He also sees it.
Is that something that I could easily climb up to if the room's not that tall? Or like...
Yes, you can fairly easily climb up there, most likely.
Okay. Rilinid will, I guess, prop himself up and use the 2 walls to climb his way up to this thing.
Alright.
Then we'll draw his bow, just in case.
Yep, seems reasonable enough.
Yes, peering into the hole, it seems to be, again, thick with webbing, but the webbing makes it somewhat easier to climb it, actually, it being sticky and all. The hole seems to go on for quite a bit, actually, and sort of it disappears into darkness. Really thinks that on the other side of it, he sees a sort of a cavern opening up with more webs in it.
Okay. Anything else around, like, this particular, like, entry point, or like, just inside?
No, not really. All of the small sort of debris and detritus of small rodents or whatever.
Okay. Rilinid will look back down to Zyn and signal about the hole, the passageway. Like, would it have to be something that we squeeze through? Like, how comfortable would it be for one of us to get through it?
You can squeeze through it.
Okay. He'll signal back that there's a passageway that apparently these spiders went through. We can follow, but we'd have to squeeze through. It does seem like there's a larger cavern opening on the other side.
Then we'll signal back that doesn't sound like a great idea, following the obvious enemy into their lair. It's just running into a trap, pretty much. To him, at least.
Rilinid signals back that perhaps the numbers will surprise these potential enemies if they are intelligent, and along with that, maybe they would in turn be surprised by the fact that we actually found their lair.
Surprised, and then turn around and kill us, because we don't know how many there are.
Likely 2. We outnumber 2.
Then just shrugs, not even bothering with sign language anymore. Do whatever.
Rilinid will then sort of like frown, like angrily sign back. Well, you saw the tracks. How many did you count?
How many did Zyn count?
About 2.
Well, okay, point taken. He signals that back in sign language.
Rilinid nods. That smug, expression back on his face behind the stone.
Perfectly manicured hands ruffling through his hair.
That's right. And then Rilinid will sign back. Tell the others. I don't want to speak right here in front of this hole.
Then nods and heads back out to tell the others what Rilinid is planning and what we found and stuff. Whispering in Elven.
Raise her eyebrow. So he wants us to climb up into a spider hole.
Apparently.
That does not seem like the smartest of ideas. Should we not take a look at the rest of this place first?
Then shrugs.
Take what we came for and leave.
Rilinid seemed quite intent in crawling into the spider nest, apparently.
So perhaps, I would have to ask him, why would our ancestors place a cache of materials inside a spider nest? He seems puzzled, and then sort of shakes his head and says, well, if that is what indeed has happened, I suppose there's no choice. Climbing, though.
I feel as if my character has been unfairly marketed here in this conversation.
Well, then shrugs and heads back to Rilinid.
Alright. Alauneari will take Rain with her and pull him, squeeze through the hole.
Rain using the thin tunnel, basically meaning he only has one way he can go, so there's not a whole lot of getting lost.
Maybe I suppose we can just walk through.
You all see the spider hole.
I don't.
Well,
you sense the spider hole.
You imagine it vividly for your inner eye.
Well played. DDS, played.
Sort of looks to Rilinid with a visible frown.
Rilinid offers like a shrug in return.
She sort of nods towards this entrance, questioningly.
Rilinid looks at it, back to Alauneari, looks back to the entrance, gestures towards that path that Alauneari signaled off.
Alauneari turns to Rain. then looks to Rilinid and sort of tries to gesture. He's blind.
Rilinid sort of like raises his head, shakes it, looks back to like even level, then looks at Zyn, and then gestures towards the pathway that Alauneari signaled.
Alauneari nods and gestures for Zyn to go.
Well, then we'll not climb into the spider hole yet, because that seems dangerous.
Well, I did gesture for the other way first.
Yeah.
Oh, the other way.
We were having a tiff about looking this way.
Sure, that seems like a much better alternative. What do I see? What do my almost elf eyes see? Nothing.
You see this? Squeeze.
There really are. Being squeezed is a condition, right?
That's true. It's like,
How the earthquake echoes through us.
So is this
Just
just a
nice being.
dead end, or is there anything special in here? 27.
Seems well. You start picking through the, the odd detritus and things that are in here. Not much. It's like a few stones and cave mushroom and things like that. You do find actually like hidden or thrown away in a corner, and a skeleton. Seems very old and gnomish.
What kind of roll was that for you, Sheep? Was that like a 19, a 20 for you?
That was a 20.
Oh. Critical perception.
Critical. I see everything. He's channeling the spider, ironically enough. Yes, everything seems to be stripped from this gnome, but in his under his left boot, which is horridly rotted, you see the glint of something, and when you lift it, you find 2 platinum pieces. That seems to be sort of with gnomish writing on them.
Interesting. Then we'll collect the platinum pieces and report his findings back to Alauneari. A dead gnome and
How will he do that? Will he do it with words?
Yes, Elven.
All right.
Rilinid will frown behind the stone mask.
Alauneari looks to Rilinid, as she then says, "If it's all right to speak, then why didn't you just say so?" As she reaches out to look at the and then gestures for him to look at the platinum pieces. Do you know anything about these?
Rilinid will annoyedly peer at these platinum pieces. Any sort of insignia that would note them as perhaps being from, say, Clodenvault or some other extent of this gnome king confederation?
Yes, seems likely.
Okay. Rilinid nods. Notes that they're rather indigenous to the region. They grow naturally.
All right. Alauneari will pocket the money.
Gestures back to the spider hole.
She will look to again to Zyn.
Then we'll communicate in sign language to Rilinid. Can't we send Rain or the gnome first?
Rilinid will let out like a puff of air from the other side of the mask, and he'll go in first.
Then smiles, clearly having accomplished his goal.
Alauneari seems slightly annoyed at them using the sign language when she's around, but it's perfectly fine to speak. She'll take note of learning that at some point.
And then we'll never use it
telling
again.
them.
Roll perception. You notice that Alauneari has facial expressions of understanding.
Seems to be satisfied with your expressions.
Taking mental notes, she is.
Yes.
Well, she could read minds. She would do that all the time.
Alright, give me a climb check, please.
Okay. So, can I take 10?
Yes, you can take 10.
Well, taking 10 only gives me a 11.
Well, judging from the hole in the webbing and such, 11 would be enough.
Okay, good. Then 11 will be what it is then. Although,
all right.
So, do I know like the minimum DC value that would be needed? Oh, I'll chance just like a metagame aspect.
Probably a 10.
Okay, in that case, before I do that, then what I'll actually have to do is remove the armor again to take 10, and then go through.
Okie doke.
Otherwise, I would sustain an armor check penalty that would make the requirement the thing untenable. There we go. And then I go off into the darkness.
Fantastic. How long do the others wait until they climb after Rilinid?
Then we'll pretty much climb after him right away.
Till we hear a munching sound.
Yeah, Alauneari's not going to climb up there. So she'll wait until she hears something that indicates that she shouldn't. Because as a standard, she really doesn't want to take her armor off and climb up this thing.
I can't see the hole to climb up.
Doesn't seem that great.
Tristan will not leave her Eidolon behind.
The Eidolon can climb up.
And
Right.
she's very bad at climbing too.
Takes a while, but after a few minutes of climbing, Rilinid and then Zyn comes up in a new small cavern, looking around. The first thing that greets Rilinid are strange sort of jagged runes that seems almost to be woven with spider silk on the wall when it climbs up.
Jagged runes? Like legible?
Yes, they seem to be the script of the Skisral, and it says the following.
Huh. Hey everyone, I took a language here for flavor reasons, and as it turns out, I'm gaining
good
incredible
choice.
power. Yes.